Hey everyone, so I hope you guys are done with that unboxing. So let me just jump in and show you this comics one by one, what I have in my hand. And this is one of the comics which attracted me simply because of its absolutely fantastic cover, and that is the Huntress. It's called Crossbow at the Crossroads. My first reaction was this part of New 52 or was it part of Rebirth? I'm still yet to figure it out. Maybe I'll give a read and then I will understand more about it. But the thing that attracted me most on this book was the fantastic artwork that it had. I have not read any trade paperback of Huntress before. Although I know about the character and she plays some pivotal roles in No Man's Land, in Hush, and many of the important Batman storylines. So I'm well familiar with the character, and she has a lot of negative shade in her. So she is not the one who rallies behind Batman family or Bat family. She is a player of her own. But anyway, this is my first chance to get a close look at her and her adventures and her stories and her character, and then figure out for myself if I need to pick more of this. So that's the simple reason. And the other reason I need to find out, okay, it's by I think Marcus Stowe, I think could be the artist here, Paul Levitz the writer, and John Dell the colorist is my guess. But the artwork, as you guys can see in these pages, is phenomenal, right? And I really hope the story is as good as well, because that will pack a powerful punch on why I need to pick up more of Huntress from this Paul Levitz run, which I'll definitely do so if I find this an interesting read. The cover art is simply brilliant, and that itself gives me a reason to go and buy more of this stuff. Yeah, seems very interesting and intriguing. Nothing much of an extras except some I think some sketch work. What I'll do is I may give it a full read and then do a proper review of this book standalone, and then maybe you guys will also have a reason whether to pick it up or not. So that's Huntress. Next one we have is Aquaman from the DC Universe Rebirth run. Just take it out of the cover. It's well packed. This I ordered quite some time back, I remember, and yeah, that is Aquaman. Now I remember. It was actually, he had told me that this has some water damage, as you guys can see, not in the best of condition. But yeah, I mean, let me give it a try. I mean, I want to complain that water damage will spoil the complete artwork, but I really wanted to read this book at least once and figure it for myself if it is really something which I would love, and I'm already loving it by seeing the artwork. I may go ahead and purchase a better quality TPB of this one. So yeah, it's a bummer. Fortunately, I don't see any of the pages actually damaged nor the artwork being torn away, which is something which you usually find in water damaged books. And you need to be very delicate in handling this and to restore it back to the best way possible. So I need to give it some heat and then separate the pages and then see what is the best way to take it out. But yeah, I will definitely give this one a read. It's Aquaman Underworld by Dan Abnett and Stefan Sejic. Stefan Sejic, by the way, is one of my favorite artists. He's the one who has already also done Harley, and I simply love the artwork in that. So he's an artist whose artwork I'm definitely looking forward to in this book. So that's Aquaman Volume 4 Underworld. Next one we have what to pick. Yeah, so this one is Wolverine First Cuts, and the reason why I picked this book is that I usually don't pick up a lot of Marvel comics, right? I don't associate with many of the characters there, and it's a huge tons of runs have been happening in Marvel history that I kind of like have lost track. But if there is one character for whom I will pick up a Marvel comic, it's Wolverine. And the reason why I picked up this one is that it has some of the old stories of Wolverine, and it talks about some old stories, some runs with the X-Men. It gives you a history and background of the character, and that is the reason why I picked this one up, and really love the cover art and the behind artwork as well. It says that witness the experiment that bonded adamantium to Logan's bones and claws, and learn the true story of how he joined the X-Men, right? So it goes back in time and shows you that history of Logan. And I've read some of the stories as part of Marvel pocket books, but really excited to read this in full. The classic comic book stories that inspired the film. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. So that's Wolverine First Cuts. So for fans of Wolverine out there, let me know if I need to do a review of this book and give you enough reasons why you should also pick them up. Cool. Next, move into this one. The other two both are wrapped. That's why I picked up this one. This is Savage Hawkman. Again, just like Huntress before, I've never picked up a standalone trade paperback of Hawkman, and he's from the New 52. I don't know how many. So this is a volume 2. So apparently means there was more than one volume in it. Collects issues number 0 and 9 to 20. Okay, so that's why it's so thick. It's really thick, guys. Yeah, as you can see, it's by Liefeld, DeFalco and Bennett. Hawkman plays an important role in Dark Knight's Metal series, for those of you guys who are still not read that. And yeah, I mean, for the ones who know about him, he's the guy who has the nth metal powering him, and the ones who've read Metal series will know what an important factor nth metal is to the whole story. So he's very much tied up to that. Hawkman and Hawkgirl are two characters who always kind of like get sidelined amidst the major characters, but these are characters because they are kind of like I don't know, hundreds of years old, and their story spans generations. So it's kind of like very intriguing for me to read about Hawkman. And I think there was a story called Batman Lost and Hawkman Found, which was two stories which was like side stories to Batman Dark Knight's Metal. But yeah, looking forward to jumping into this one, and it's going to be quite a long read, judging by the size of this book. But yeah, too excited to get that in my hands. And the next one is, it's still bubble wrapped. It's Justice League Throne of Atlantis. Now, why did I pick this up? I loved the Throne of Atlantis storyline, and I already had this in Aquaman, the Throne of Atlantis. So I think most of the storyline in this one is similar to the Aquaman one, except that maybe one or two stories will be different. I don't really have a clue, but absolutely the story is fantastic. It's by obviously the master himself, Jeff Jones, art by Ivan Reis and others. Tony S. Daniel also plays a role here. Interesting. I quite forgot about that. But this is a very strong, very appealing kind of story, guys, which I thought was one of the highlights of the New 52 run by Jeff Jones. That's why I picked it up, and I wanted to really get it in hardcover. So why don't I just give you a snapshot of what it contains. Yeah, it's always very saddening to remove the spine, sorry, not the spine, the cover. This was a near mint book, and now this is just a mint condition book perhaps. Yep, that's the book. Really look cool without that cover. I don't think there is anything. Yeah, there's nothing here. And then you go into the entire story. There is a real joy in reading these stories in hardcover. It's a different pleasure altogether. I don't know how to explain it. I know hardcovers are more costly than the trade paperbacks, and that's the reason why many people give it a skip, because the story is the same, right? It's just that it's bound in hardcover. So what is the big difference? But hardcover just adds different experience to the whole story, right? It somehow makes it much more wonderful reading it rather than just a trade paperback. So I'm really excited to read this, and I hope that at least some of the stories of this book is different from the the Aquaman Throne of Atlantis. Some additional stories at least, so that I don't beat myself to death over double dipping on this one. The final one which I have is a coloring book. Actually, this one is something which I got for free. It was something which I had asked the seller, and he gave it to me because he had multiple copies of that. So really thanks to him for giving me this one. This is Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad. By the way, for the guys who really are interested in getting this, it's available on Amazon as well. But the one thing which I didn't know that this was bigger than a trade paperback, right? So it is actually bigger, and it is thick as well, although this copy is not in the most best condition. It's a bit dusty, but that's okay. Like, you can always find faults with anything you love. But yeah, I really am in look. Okay, this is from the Hush storyline. I didn't know that that it had Batman as well. But otherwise it looks mostly from the Harley Quinn Suicide Squad story. Yeah. Wow, that's another brilliant one. Joker and Harley there. Wow, I think it's a great addition to my collection. Looks really interesting, looks really cool, has a lot of interesting covers, and I'm a fan of artwork as well. So very happy and excited to get this as well. Yeah, wow. So it's always great to come back home and find a lot of comics that has arrived to your doorstep while you were away. But I still dig this one above many of the others. So time for me to jump right in and enjoy some of these comics. Hope you guys like this video. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and let me know which one of these comics should I review first. Until next time, bye bye.